by introducing my players. First up, we have Deckard Payne, played by.
Ryanaga, and Deckard is a elf blade singer.
Excellent. And then we have Orkoru, played by.
Charwolf, and Orkoru is a bugbear monk.
Excellent. Followed by Sylvia, played by.
A groggy Cerulean. And Sylvia is, as always, a human warlock sorcerer hybrid.
Excellent. Next, we have Raz, played by.
Will, and Raz is a half-elf lorebard.
And last, but only because his roles are too good, we have Azure, played by.
Darby 827, and Azure is a half-elf paladin.
Excellent. So to remind everyone where we left off last time, the party started out in a area that was infested with bugbears and goblins. Oh, you know what? Let me also make sure I'm sharing this. There you go.
So infested, they have one in the party.
Yes, indeed. And so you guys ended up clearing out a small encampment of them. They were pretty well entrenched in there, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to do a quick count. Six there. You killed about 15 goblins and two bugbears, and discovered that inside of the bugbears, or at least these particular bugbears, were intellect devourers. And the bugbears were kind of like if you've seen Men in Black, when the bug takes over the farmer. They were just kind of in there making puppets out of the creatures that they were controlling. So
Edgar suits.
Edgar suits. And so ultimately, after exploring that, the party went up and they found a hall of mirrors, which they investigated and found shadow um, shadows of Raz popped out, because he was the person who walked between the trap. And you also ended up finding a strange bronze mask that has the facial image of Halaster on it. And if nothing else, it's probably worth about 50 gold pieces. You have a feeling that like the next time you guys ascend to the tavern, you might even be able to talk some of the bar patrons into wearing, wanting to wear it, like, oh, it's a collector's item. Have you ever seen anything like this? It came from the dungeon itself, that sort of thing. So you guys had a rest at the end of the last session. I already took care of the rest. And as I remember it, we took a vote prior to starting this, and you guys wanted to start down by the southern passage. So if everybody can place themselves somewhere in the room with the star, I will proceed.
Quick note, there's a few status effects remaining on us.
Oh, okay. Let me double check those. Let's see here. Raz, thank you for reminding me. I need to remove your status effect.
Ah.
What?
Oh, my token was just doing things I didn't mean to do.
Someone's. No, no one's missing from this list. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Let me go round one. Set the timer up here at the top. I have an interesting idea that literally just occurred to me. Everybody roll initiative. Not necessarily because a battle's coming, but if I have you guys pre-roll initiatives, then I can just roll right into battles.
Well, there's that nat 1 I was looking for.
Haha, Raz goes first so that she can run the fuck away.
Okay, so with that out of the way, you guys are obviously going to go through that door, so give me a second to remove the mask here.
I'll mage hand it open just to be sure.
Give me a second to check because I'm not sure if this particular door is light or heavy. And also, I'm trying to fiddle with a couple things at once. Okay, so with that out of the way,
Fair enough.
I'm going to move Azure for a second because I need to get at the pin. There's no note, so I'm just going to assume these are regular double doors. You use Mage Hand to swing open the door, and beyond you lies a passageway. There is a turn to the right, which leads further south, and then there is a passageway that's leading off to the west, and it looks like, wait a minute, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Oops, my mistake. I need to explore that much. It looks like that passageway turns a little bit to the north, um, and you're not sure which way to go. So pick one.
I say we double down on bottoms.
Okay.
Interesting
Sounds like
choice of words.
Forward.
Is Okoro going to scout ahead?
that was Kuru's plan, but he will do so stealthily.
Enjoy guidance. You know what? Also, still enjoy guidance. Roll a d4.
Yeah, still roll the d4. Higher the number, the higher the number they got to beat. Okay, so you got a total of 29. Woo! So, sure enough, Okoro vanishes into the shadows after a mere moment. And then let me see here. So I'm going to say here 5, 10, 15,
Peek
20,
around the
25,
corner.
30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay.
I am the stone.
I'm
I am the air.
pretty damn sure. Wait a minute.
You are a leaf on
I
the
am your
wind.
thought. Yep.
Screwed it up. Hold on just a second. Nope, that's not it. It's this one. There we go. Woo.
I
Okay.
am the dragon turtle.
Okay. Okay. Shit, I lost my train of thought. 5, 10, 15, 60. Here. Okay. All right. So when you poke your head around the corner, you see that this hall is really brightly lit. Now, there are a number of flickering tallow candles that float in shallow niches along the wall. That's what those little sort of explosion markers are. Um, and the candles don't seem to be producing any smoke whatsoever. In fact, once you notice that little aspect that you just don't see that typical smoke trail, you look up and see that the ceiling in this area is actually perfectly clean. And then as you look up and down the hallway, you also notice that this corridor is free of other dust and debris, and that suddenly sort of strikes you as odd for a couple of reasons. One, up until this point, this area being so well explored has just been littered with trash all over the dungeon. Second of all, with these candles floating everywhere, you would have expected there to be giant piles of wax on the floor, and there aren't any. In fact, now that you're noticing it, it looks like the wax will sort of dribble down the side, hit the bottom, and sort of hang there, and then somehow it reconstitutes itself into the rest of the candle. So looking up and down the
So,
hall, oh, and actually, I'm sorry, I got to do just a little bit more. It turns out that because they provide light, you can see a little further than you would normally. And I'll go like that because there's a corner. Put that there. Sorry, you were saying?
so the candles aren't dripping on something and then like growing the essentially the wax is like receding back into the candle. It's not being like dripped onto something and then reappearing, like it's not being teleported or something like that.
No, it looks like a rivulet of wax will go down along the side. It'll come to the underside of the candle where it would sort of hang, and then instead of dropping
Mhm.
off, it just sort of stays there. And so the candle maintains the exact same length the entire time that you're looking at it.
Am I hanging out by the corner? Am I am I close enough to a candle to reach out to one?
No, you would have to go 10 feet in order to reach the closest candle.
Even with my bugbear limbs, it's like 10 feet away, and then another bugbear's reach away.
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that. You would have to go just 5 feet because you also have to reach a little bit to get at the candle in question. So, like, if you went 5 feet to the south, that would do you fine.
Okay. I do that.
Okay.
I reach for one of the candles to see if I can put it out.
Oh, okay. Hold on just a second. Okay, so you take it out of the niche, right?
Well, I was just gonna, put my
Extinguish it
fingers
where it
on
is.
the, yeah, just like, can I put it out at all, or does it just refuse?
Okay. When you reach out and you just sort of lick your fingers and go, "Tsk," and what would normally put out the candle instead actually causes the candle to continue burning. There's no smoke, but there's certainly heat, and you actually take a single point of fire damage.
Okay. I report back. Magic candles.
Okay. Does the party have any?
Reminds me of home in the volcano.
Oh, excuse me.
Hang on, I'm going to take a look at this.
Okay, what are you gonna do?
Going to do an Arcana check.
Okay. What exactly are you trying to figure out?
I'm trying to figure out, like, if I've seen an artifact like this before, or something, or what's going on. Is this an illusion? Is this actually a regenerating candle, etc.? What's going on?
Okay.
Okoro shows you the still like sizzling tips of his fingernail claws. It's like that's a real good illusion.
Sometimes illusions are.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, those are all that. Okay, so you roll a 22. Now, obviously, in order to get information about something like this, you're going to have to walk up to it and investigate. Are you? Yeah, okay. So you move into the niche, and the candle's floating right about at eye level for you, so it works just fine. Um, you do some just really rudimentary experiments like, can I subtract wax from the candle? Yes, you can. You go through all of these, and in the end, what you conclude is that this candle, or actually probably all of these candles, however many total there are, um, were likely created as part of a ritual, just cast over regular candles. In fact, you have a feeling that if you were to take one out of the niche, that it would probably just become an ordinary candle again. Um, but for now, as long as it remains in its niche, um, oh, and actually, I don't think I said this, but it says here that the niches contain 2 lit candles each. So, anyway, so long as it remains in its niche, whatever ritual magic was cast to activate it in this way will just continue in perpetuity. There's nothing about these things that suggests that dispel magic would fail to extinguish them. Um, so yeah. However, this is not magic that is commonly known. It's certainly not a magic item that everybody knows about. Oh, it's the everlasting candles of blah blah blah. No, this is just some unusual piece of magic that has been concocted by either Halaster or somebody else who came through here. Who knows?
Kind of wish I had these when I was at the library.
So
Indeed.
can I use detect magic as a ritual to find anything else more?
Well, using detect magic as a ritual just tells you that these candles are under a persistent transmutation effect. In fact, that you can see that um, the niches have a circular area that's just a column reaching from the floor to the ceiling that contains these candles. And you're uncertain if adding new candles would result in them joining this group of candles, but it seems like that transmutation field is what is um, keeping up the effect.
Hmm.
I'm gonna look to see if there are footprints. I know it's really clean, but even the cleaner the floor is, the easier it'd be to see if someone dragged dirt in here. If anyone's walked through this,
I'm sorry, what were you looking for?
footprints.
There are absolutely no footprints whatsoever. In fact, the floor of this space is probably one of the cleanest floors you've ever seen.
Even like if Raz tries to like dirty her boot and track in dust, does the dust just disappear?
Well, there's some rubble in the other room near that statue, so you sort of go in there and like stomp your feet in there, come all the way back here, stomp your feet in the hallway. The hallway becomes dirty like any other place, except it's just that area that you dirtied.
Interesting.
So there might just be some sort of a cleaning, or maybe somebody just goes through here and cleans it from time to time.
Could be. I mean, now that Deckard Payne has Detect Magic up, there's no other magical field that would account for like a ritual spell or some other type of spell that would just, clean the area regularly. There's just one here for these candles.
Well, that means
Maybe
someone or something cleans it regularly.
maybe something's hungry and likes to eat dirt.
Well, why don't you move forward and figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, this dungeon is really well populated, so it stands to reason that something would be doing that. Now, one of the other things I want to point out is, obviously you can go off to the west, you can go off to the southeast a little bit, but off to the west there is supposed to be there's a door, um, and that's about as far as you can see from that candle's radiance.
This way seems easier, so Cora will naturally start wandering that way unless somebody advises otherwise.
Okay, so you
Good way
guys
as
are
any.
gonna go down this way. I'm gonna just make sure I get all the little bits of line gunk. Okay, so I'm gonna just move you to say either here or here. I don't really care, but I know you like to
Okay.
look around corners and stuff. So, anyways, so you go down the hallway. The hallway is exactly the same as everywhere else. There's a whole bunch of them. And now that you come all the way down here, you've counted just, because there are 25 total niches, and each niche has 2 candles in them. They're all exactly the same. If Deckard were to, continue down the hallway, they have the exact same magical fields as everything else. One of the other things that you noticed about these candles that's I don't know, unusual, but interesting, I suppose, is that a niche or this one in particular is a semicircular impression into the wall, and the candles, even though the field is circular, like truly circular, never pass out into the hallway. They always stay back, as if they're staying out of the way of anyone who might be passing through. So that's oddly considerate in Mad Mage's dungeon. But anyways, so when you make it all the way down to this corner. The tunnel comes to a dead end, and mounted on the north wall of which is a mirror. And worked into the mirror's stone frame is the graven image of a human wizard wielding a wand.
So there's a stone frame with a mirror. Did I hear that right? Or
Yes, there is a stone frame with a mirror. The
Mhm.
It doesn't actually say, but I have a feeling that this is a large mirror. It goes almost entirely floor to ceiling, and it is rectangular in shape. And then along the frame of that is a stone. It's a stone frame, and there's a graven image of a human wizard wielding a wand.
Is it the same image of the mask we have?
No, actually, it seems to be some other human wizard.
Hey,
So
Azure, you should look at that mirror before anyone else looks at it.
Okay.
Because you've got detect magic on.
yeah, that's why I'm there.
Okay. This is a extraordinarily magical mirror. The mirror seems to give me a second. I gotta see. I'm looking for an equivalent effect in the player's handbook. I wasn't expecting to do spell schools. I really should. Then, oops. Search.
like the DM's bane? I made up this effect. What spell school is it?
Yeah, because I don't know the spell school is that great. It is a conjuration field. It is one of the most magical conjuration field things you've ever seen in your entire goddamn life.
Do we break it or do we leave?
I think there might be more than just two options there. I mean, I know which
Those
one's
are
your.
the two. Those are the two options that Okoro comes up with.
Hey man, well, somebody reached into Raz. That was you, right? Reached
I
into a
did
mirror.
nothing. I just looked at the mirror, and the mirror looked back, and it didn't like what it didn't like what it saw.
You were too pretty.
But yes, it was me. That's why someone else is taking care of the mirror this time.
But how is the question?
Paladins like to break things.
I don't want to break a mirror though.
Any other thoughts on things that you could do to or with a mirror?
We could step up 5 feet away from the mirror, see what happens. We could touch the mirror.
Yeah, let's have Bat touch the mirror.
Okay. Um, are you guys going to be close to it when that happens?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm right exactly where I am.
Okay.
I'm
Everybody
moving
else,
back.
Yeah,
relocate yourself to where you actually are. Okay.
I'm staying back here.
There we go.
I'm good.
Okay.
Fine.
So, Bat heaves a long suffering sigh and alights from your shoulder, and flutters up and sort of boots his nose on the mirror. And as soon as he does, the mirror's surface ripples and beams with light. The light is bright for about 2.5 seconds, and then it dims markedly, and um, it shows you a passageway on the other side. And I need just a second because I never realized for some reason in my notes that I was going to have to know this. Let me see here. This is to. Well, that doesn't help anything.
What happened? Did Bat disintegrate or something?
No, he's still there. He's perfectly fine. However, the mirror has come to life, and he's just kind of fluttering in front of it.
It's an animated mirror. It's going
Uh,
to eat us. It was a mimic all along.
Oh, I
See,
see.
I was asking that in character, but okay.
Okay, give me just a second longer. I finally located what I need to find, or the region of the book I'm going for. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. The room on the other side has a bunch of wreckage of several archery targets. Um, there are the badly rotted corpses of four dwarves lying in a semicircle in front of the mirror on the other side. Most of their armor and weapons are damaged beyond repair. And that's all you can really see from here. And actually, the now that the mirror it has sort of come to life and is shedding all this light, that's kind of how you can see the dwarves. So there you go.
Can Okoro see from where he's at? Like, does he kind of see what's going on?
Yes. Anybody that is in a direct line of sight with that end of the hallway, meaning Deckard, Azor, and Orkoru, can see through the mirror.
Can he make line of sight on the archery targets?
What are you trying to do?
Can he shoot the archery targets through the mirror?
Um, you can try. You don't know.
But like, does he have line of sight to even try that?
Yes.
Okay. And he is going to draw his bow.
Okay. Is anybody reacting to this at all? Sounds like that's a no.
Uh,
Hmm?
I don't know what's going on, man, but I think we ought to figure out how come those dwarves.
I assume if we can see through the mirror, that maybe we can shoot through the mirror, and an archery target begs to be hit.
Any further protests?
Not really.
Okay. Then
Oh,
you don't really need to roll. You're just going to take a shot. I mean, there's stationary targets and everything. And
well, he'll did he's kind of made this assumption, but did Bat like look like he when he touched the mirror, did the ripple look like it might be able to go through? Like,
well, nobody's tested that. Like, that's the thing. Like, he just booped the mirror, it lit up, and Bat
uh,
has not been commanded to try to uh, go through the mirror. So
All
it
right, Bat is commanded to try to go through the mirror.
Okay. Bat bumps up against the surface of the mirror, and he bounces off. He's not hurt. There isn't much of a reaction for the mirror itself,
Hmm.
although the region that he hits has a crystalline lattice that forms in front of him.
Hmm.
Okoro looks disappointed and starts putting his quiver away.
Okay.
Where when we find these archery targets, I want my shot at them.
I am sure that if you're still alive by that point, that will be an option.
Gonna walk up to see what's going on.
Hmm.
I'm assuming I see everything sans the crystal lattice. So what do you think it is?
Well,
Talking to the spellcasters.
okay, before you continue, I just want to add one little additional piece of information. While Bat can't go through the surface, he's flying pretty close to the mirror, and as long as he's close, the crystal lattice actually sort of follows him around. Everybody knows how bats move. They have that sort of jittery, jerking left, right, up, down sort of a thing in diagonals, and the lattice actually moves to form, following that movement. But anyways, as for anybody else trying to actually figure out anything about the mirror, you'll need to roll a Arcana check.
I know nothing.
See if I do okay. Nah.
23 is, oh no, that's Deckard. Haha. Okay. So Deckard, is pretty closely examining this mirror, and the conclusion that you come to is that while it actually seems a little unlikely for you to have come across it so early, you think that this might actually be um, one of the gates that Halaster is somewhat famous for making. So,
Hmm.
really advanced parties that have made it down to like level 10, you guys are on level 1, for example, have said that there are gates, and the gates actually move between like level 2 and level 13, or level 10 and level 1, or all over throughout the dungeon, and they are these odd shortcuts that you could use if you end up on the wrong level, to get to a different place. Now, the only thing that you're not certain of is what this particular gate's requirements are, because it turns out that, as I mentioned, some of the higher level people that have been through this particular um, dungeon have specifically mentioned they all have different triggers. You might actually be able to pay for some of that information back up at the tavern,
Mhm.
but at the moment, you have absolutely no idea. Now, the other thing is that you also have absolutely no idea where this mirror is outputting, because you certainly don't recognize the location, but that doesn't mean that it's not on the same floor that you're currently on. But one of the only other things that I would mention about this is a little historical note, which is that while the dungeon is actually really famous for having these gates, a lot of them are not in operation. And in fact, if you think back a little bit, there was a room that you guys went into where when Raz passed through it, he turned invisible.
Mhm.
That is the remains of another gate. And during an event called the Spell Plague that took place on Faerun. Actually, I'm not quite sure when it was in relation to this. I think it was like 100 years ago, maybe. Um, during the spell plague, there were a lot of nasty events that went on, but like magic across the world was extremely disrupted because the plague was quasi magical in nature. So it affected all sorts of artifacts, magical items, gods, and it is known to have busted a lot of these. And so the fact that this one actually still remains in operation, leading to wherever it's supposed to lead, is something of a miracle because even the Mad Mage's dungeon was not immune to the spell plague.
Raz wants to try one thing.
Okay,
They're gonna try and summon Mage Hand on the other side of the mirror.
interesting. I understand. Okay, you concentrate. When you cast the spell, you feel a little bit of resistance, which is not something you normally feel when casting spells, but to your massive surprise, it works.
Cool. Did the dwarves have anything fun on them?
Oh, well, there's only so much you can rifle through those dwarves at a distance. Actually,
Feel around on the wall next to the other side of that. See if there's a lever or something.
he only gets some sensory information out of the hand. It's not quite as good as an actual hand. So I'm sorry. Give me a second. I got to do one thing at a time here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have divination spells that work like that. Though, actually, I'm curious if we could summon a familiar on the other side.
Hmm.
Well, if you want to wait an hour.
Um.
This doesn't seem like too dangerous to spot. Also, Okoro's eyes go wide at the fact that the mage hand is able to go over there, and he takes out his bow again.
Okay. There's one
He
other
really
thing.
wants to shoot the targets.
Oh, I bet. There's one other thing that occurs to Deckard. I'm just gonna go off of his very good roll. Um, Now that Raz has summoned the hand on the other side of the mirror, spells have a range. You guys work with that all the time. Well, the range on Mage Hand is like, what, 30 feet? Something like that. Um,
Mhm.
so even if it was just in the same level of the dungeon, it's probably more than 30 feet away from where you are currently, which means that the mirror is in its own weird way, acting as an extender. So if there are other spell effects that you might be able to cast, um, you they should actually be able to appear on the other side of the mirror due to the truncation of distance, if that makes sense. And this would affect auras and other things like that.
Now you're thinking with portals.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, rooting around in the other room as much as you can. The dwarf bodies are heavy, much too heavy for a mage hand to actually like lift them up by an ankle and shake them out until all the coins fall. You know what I mean? There's one of the dwarfs is wearing a steel helmet shaped like the head of a boar. It looks pretty cool, and it's actually one of the only things he's wearing that wasn't torn apart. Like a lot of his armor is in tatters, so it could possibly be magical, or it could have just been ignored. You're not sure from here. And I'm skimming through the rest of this. Ugh. Okay. Nope. The rest of them seem to have their armor is busted. Their weapons actually have chunks taken out of them. It looks almost like some sort of toothy monster bit into their swords. And there's a spear
Okay.
broken in half. And yeah, that's about all you can see from here.
Hey, Azure, is Azure the one with this detect magic up, or is that Deckard?
Deckard.
Oh, hey Deckard. Sorry, I thought it was Azure who had it up for some reason. Hey Deckard, is that helmet magical?
You'll have to move a bit closer to the mirror to find out. So fine. Yeah, that helm is fairly magical. There is a faint aura of transmutation magic around it, and that's about all you can tell from here.
Raz is going to make a silent prayer and slowly drag the helm towards the portal, hoping to hell that it's just a one way.
Oh, interesting thought. So the helmet is actually just heavy enough, or sorry, just light enough, I should say, that you can actually lift it up and sort of levitate with it. Um, so you manage to get it off the dwarf. It takes a bit of work, and then you lift it up and you're bringing it towards the mirror. And as soon as it gets there, that crystal lattice forms on the other side.
Damn it. Raz is just going to try and like reach her hand through the lattice to try and just like get a hold of it. I'm
Nope.
assuming it doesn't work.
Nope. The lattice forms on the other side closest to you, and when you press your hand up against it, it feels like some of the smoothest glass you've ever met.
It's probably some sort of a password or something. What the hell would it be?
Um, well, hold on a second. Okay. So,
Out of character, this isn't one of the guys from the three statues room in the other part of this level, right?
no, this graven image is one that you have never seen before.
Okay.
So, um, now that you guys have interacted with the gate for an extended period of time and already made a good Arcana roll, um, so Deckard has been, trying to formulate theories and link together information that he knows about some of these other gates that he's heard about. Um, and his end conclusion is that, in all likelihood, this gate requires the party to be a higher level before passing through. Um, the gates that you've heard about are definitely supposed to be two-way. In fact, um, nobody who has been through Undermountain has ever reported having come across a one-way gate. And when people pass through it, they pass through it as if that was possible for just anybody. So the fact that you seem to be barred may be a restriction based on how tough you are.
Wait, does anyone have Misty Step
I
or
do, but I don't want to use it.
oh
I don't think it's prudent at the moment. I think we should just go in
magic
another direction.
helmet?
Yeah, we'll get it eventually. It's not going anywhere.
Magic helmet.
It's really not going anywhere.
Targets to shoot.
Well, I'm just thinking if you use one use. Oh, wait, do you only have one use a day of that? Isn't that a racial ability?
No, it's I took it.
Okay, well, if you use it, then you use it again. You'll get the helmet, and you're the only one who wears helmet, so it'll be yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we should go in another direction.
Meh. Fine.
Okay.
We know where it is. We'll
Uh,
come back.
Okoro joins Raz in her hissy, but for his own reasons.
Raz is just going to make a mark on the map of helmet here. We'll find later. Not
wait,
given to Paladin.
Okoro sees that and does it in calligraphy.
Oh, okay. So your note is made with panache, and yeah. So
Oh,
move,
that's just on
Make
her map of the area.
right. But
make
regardless, move
make
yourselves
Raz
to the
feel
next
special.
area that you're investigating. Is that the door or just looking down the
Well,
hallways?
Just looking down the hallway.
Okay, so give me a second and I'll do
bottoms
some
first.
reveals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're
So,
gonna go
hey,
like that.
by the way, I'm sorry. I thought Azure was the one who had detect magic up or something. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was you.
Sorry, 10,
We
20,
do look alike.
30, 40, 50,
They're
60.
equally as special.
Make
I mean,
mine-
to Okoro, we all look alike.
There we go. Okay, so here's
Kind
how
of
the
true.
rest of the space that you guys have can see looks like. Dead end off to the west, and then down to the south there is a passageway that heads to the east, but it still extends further to the south. And then of course there's the door to your north.
Let's deal with this
This
little
looks
door
like the
first.
easier option.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, you guys check it for traps. You open the door. On the other side, there is a empty 10-foot square room. There's about 4 shelves at varying heights. It looks like this was once a closet, but whatever was in here was moved a long time ago.
This looks like the closet of punishments.
It's not quite that nasty.
Do I want to know that story? I don't think I do.
Does it look like there's any like? It just looks like a closet.
Yeah, and an empty one at that. The closet itself has some dust in here, and yeah.
I have very many memories of the closet of punishments. Let's
What about
keep
the
going.
end of the hallway right here?
You guys look around for a little bit, searching for secret passages. You don't find anything, um, and that section of the hallway is actually fairly clean.
Huh.
Okay, so once you guys make it to this point, I'm pretty sure.
I closed the door to the closet before moving on.
Okay,
You're such a good house guest,
10,
Sylvia.
20,
It's very polite.
30, 40, 60. Okay. Boop. So you can see that there is another turn to the east down that way. And then, see here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And the tunnel to the east goes off a good 60 feet and continues. You can't see much beyond
Right.
that.
Sneak, 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 sneak.
Okay. It looks like the tunnel veers off to the south a little bit after a distance.
We're gonna do a donut. All right. Sneak, 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 sneak. Beep.
Okay.
Look around the corner.
Okay. Boop. And I'm just going to make it a little more clear. There and there. So the passageway turns into a T intersection, and there is a space to the west and a space to the east.
Where are my crumpets?
Okay.
I'll
So
see what I can see from both directions there.
10, 20, 30, 40, and then that. So get this. There we go. And then like so. And right. So it looks like the passageway off to the east might you can see that the wall gets a bit rough, but you're not really sure what's down that way. And then the other passageway off to the west continues down to the south further than you can see.
My instinct is to complete the circuit unless somebody has other ideas.
Let's check that little one off to the east.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. When you get to the corner there,
Sorry, Sylvia.
it turns out that for whatever reason, to your massive surprise, this area seems to have collapsed. Now, one of the things that I mentioned several sessions ago was that the dungeon itself is known for being, shall we say, immutable. Like you can cast Earthquake down here, and the magical effects that Halaster has put in place um, prevents the dungeon walls from being destroyed. Like you can destroy doors and if they ever exist, windows, but walls themselves are supposed to be pretty indestructible, as are floors. So the fact that this passageway collapsed is very unexpected.
Hey, Deckard, is your detect magic still up?
No, but for the purposes of this, it kind of doesn't matter. He can just pop it right back up.
It's perpetually up.
won't go quite that far, but yeah. So he brings up detect magic. There's no special magical aura down this way. Sometimes when there are illusions, you get the sense that there's magic in the area, but it's elusive, including like where exactly it is. The illusory magic kind of disperses across the room rather than, you know, accumulate around wherever you're trying to hide, if that makes sense. That
All
said, you
right.
can always
Fair
reach out
enough.
and poke it.
I'll just Eldritch Blast the collapsed wall for some reason.
Okay. You summon up your bright tendrils of smoky nothingness, blast at the walls a little bit. Despite the fact that this is a collapsed section and you sort of expect that you'd be able to drill through here because I guess it does his magic doesn't work here. The broken section of tunnel is completely unaffected.
Well, nothing really to do here. I think we should just move.
Okay.
I was just
Sneak,
gonna at
sneak.
least touch it just to be 100% sure.
Yeah, no problem. You walk up. You kind of scrabble over some of the rubble that slid down, um, which is really interesting to you because you have this moment where you're like, if this isn't an illusion, can an illusion actually make me levitate? Do you know what I mean? So you scrabble around on the rocks for a little bit. You just kind of poke stuff, and it really does seem to be solid.
And no little holes.
No, no. There are little tiny holes in between some of the collapsed pieces, but you can see beyond them that there's just more collapsed hallway. So,
Huh. He must have just not finished this part.
it's entirely possible. This place was a dwarven stronghold at one point, so maybe parts of it were still being dug out. Regardless, Okoro pokes his head around the corner and finds yet another dead end.
Hmm. That's unexpected.
Yeah,
I was expecting a donut.
yeah, no, no, it's quite
I
dead.
guess we're going north.
I'm gonna check out that part as well.
What part?
Just climbing in just to be
Oh,
sure.
that southern part? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you go down there, you kind of climb around on the rocks for a little bit. You poke at little things, and oh man, that rock looks weird. Nope, everything is in order. It all seems to be on the up and up.
Huh, weird.
Yeah.
There's one last hallway down here.
Okay, who's checking it first?
Definitely Okoru.
Sneak, sneak, sneak.
Okay, I need to see something here. Okay. Um, sorry.
Bugbear man does whatever a bugbear can. Can he sneak? Can he stink? Yes, he can. He's Bugbear.
Uh, awesome. At the end of the hallway, you can see there's like 3 silver coins on the floor. Other than that, it seems to be empty.
Ah, well, Okoro just completely ignores that.
Mage hand.
Okay. You cast Mage Hand. You grab the coins, and as they're floating towards you, they suddenly get stuck. They're floating in the air now.
Oh shit, no. Can I roll nature or arcana for what I think that might be?
What are you talking about? They're just floating in the air.
Yeah, but they're stuck in something.
What you gonna do?
Hi! I don't want to meta, but I don't want to get near that thing.
Okoro has steadily been walking away. Money means nothing to him.
Yeah, I mean, that's only 3 pieces of silver, but that ain't right.
Rise is going to take one of the pretty rocks that she picked up and just toss it forward.
Okay. When you toss the rock forward, it also seems to stick in the air.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Um, can I make any kind of check?
Um, I'm having a moment because you can't actually see anything, and normally you make your checks based on what you see.
I'm going to point out the very clean hallway,
Uh-huh.
and the very clean hallway in a dungeon, which
Mm-hmm.
most adventurers should be very, 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 very scared.
Really? Why is that?
Because I know it's a gelatinous cube and I don't want to metagame.
It's okay. It's okay. You actually you figured it out. It is in fact a gelatinous cube. I'm just gonna give it to you. You guys have actually encountered this in the last session that your last adventure that you played in. So here's what I'll say. At the moment, gelatinous cubes are not super aware of their surroundings. So the fact that this stuff is stuck in it means that you guys were just lucky that nobody walked around the corner and tried to pick up the coins. At this point, since stuff is stuck in it, it seems to just kind of be sitting there at the moment. You could just leave it.
Let's leave it. I don't want to fight it.
Run.
It's
No,
lame.
Raz is just going to mouth the words, run to everyone, take the dash action, and move.
I
Okay.
hear that.
That said, since you guys did figure out the trap, uh, that is a monster, rather than go into it, you'll get air quotes
Inspiration?
experience. Actually, yeah, inspiration is perfect. Everybody check off inspiration. That was very well done. An
Yay!
actual reward, better than just a myth, imaginary one.
By the way, I'm sorry, Alex. I was trying not to metagame, but I'm like, ever since you said it's super clean in this hallway, I'm like, oh crap.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was going to be like I didn't hear you reacting. I thought it might have just passed you over, but I did
No.
mention it a few times, so I figured there was a decent chance.
Oh yeah, and as soon
I
as trying to pick up something on the ground, and then it stopped, I'm just like, and here's where we.
yeah, I'm lucky. Okoro would have went to pick up the items if it was like, you know,
A skull.
a piece of armor. Yeah, a skull. Yes, he would have reached for that. But money is legitimately, uh, his personality trait is fuck money and fuck people with money. So he did not want to pick those items up. But I was on the same line of thinking as Will there.
Just a heads up, you have been breaking up this entire time, so it's not so bad that I
Oh,
can't understand you, but just wanted
I
to let you
can
know in
do.
case anybody was like, "What?" Anyways,
Yeah, thank you for
um,
letting me know.
no problem. So, you guys make it back up to the other passageway, and I assume, let me just close out this stuff here. I assume that we're just going to investigate up here. So,
Actually, Raz is going to write on the wall right here. Gelatinous cube up ahead. Beware.
oh, I can tell you right now that Brandon is really going to want to get on that if you don't mind. He's been so eager to use his
Sure.
calligraphy. Okay, so the monk pulls out his calligraphy set, he holds back, the sleeve of his robe, and with the utmost care, just beautiful penmanship, writes out the message upon the wall, and sort of writes like arrows and death skulls and all that sort of thing, just to make it like super clear, even if you don't speak common, that danger that lies that way. Everyone admires the beauty within the writing, and then yeah, we all move on. So, um, up here, and then I'm gonna go like that because I'm just gonna automatically assume that he's gonna poke his head around the corner. Also, a little bit more. There we go. Up ahead, you can see that there is a part of the hallway that bends up to the north, and then okay, um, I'm just gonna go like that. That should be about right. When you make it up to that corner, you see a bas relief carved into the back wall of this alcove, and a is a what? Oh, is a sculpture of a nude, heavy-set man playing a harp with a like positively elated like grin plastered across his face, like nearly psychotic. Um, and his harp is really stylized. Did everyone get
Uh,
that?
yeah, I got that. I was just wondering who that was.
That was Brandon. He probably just was plugging his computer in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Question: is the sculpture human?
Um, I think so.
Okay. Okura says that would be hot, but it's human.
Um, yeah, it's actually really, really detailed. So, anyways, what will you do now? Oh, wait. I'm so sorry.
Really detailed and nude, huh?
Yes. Also, there is one other important piece of information. Lying on the floor of the alcove is the broken half of a 10-foot pole.
That screams of a trap. Okura, you should totally pick it up.
Pick up the pole. Okay, he reaches out one of his feet and starts to scoot the pole back to him.
Okay, so you use one of your foot, and you
Yep, one of
manage
my
to
foot.
you
That's
manage to get
that's the bugbear turn.
Yes, that does sound like the bugbear term. So you reach out and you kind of prod it experimentally with your foot. Nothing happens. You're able to just sort of roll it towards you a bit until you can kind of like grasp it with your hand. You pick it up and
Mhm.
absolutely nothing happens. It's just a
Does it
pole.
feel? Does it? Okay. Well, he starts doing bow stick, like like yeah, the series of exercises martial artists do with bow sticks and stuff.
Sure.
Twirling it around.
What
Uh,
broke it? Is it like a splinter break? Is it a clean break?
It is a precision clean break. It looks like somebody has sectioned this thing with a really, really sharp blade.
Oh,
Sylvia tries to match Okuru's martial arts movement.
Raz
Uh,
is going to look up.
Okay. When you look up, you just see the top of the alcove. It's a little bit lower than the rest of the ceiling, but that's about it. There's nothing up there. Just some floor tiles or ceiling tiles, I should say.
Hmm.
to help her do match the martial arts movements. He's liking the friendship building here.
Oh, party bonding.
I just thought it looked cool. Wanted to give it a try.
It does look cool.
Hey, Deckard, magic or no?
Okay.
Let's see. Um, there's a strong aura of conjuration magic in the alcove. Um, and yeah, that's about all you can tell. Um, are you gonna investigate?
I'm not entering that alcove. That just screams trap.
Okay.
Is there a way to investigate it from afar?
No.
I mean, that's what we got the bat for.
Yeah.
So you are it sounds like Bat has been volunteered. Does the owner of Bat uh want to volunteer his Bat?
Yeah. That goes in there.
Okay. Bat moves into the space. He flutters around for a bit. He kind of bumps up against the bas relief. Nothing happens. He's fine.
Hmm.
Unless you have some other action you'd like him to perform to prove the safety of this space.
Maybe have him run like one of his claws against that heart.
Well, he did bump into the bas relief itself. I have no problem with him bumping into the harp either. Doing so doesn't elicit any particular response from the image.
Is the harp an actual harp or is it
No,
merely a sculpture of the harp?
Well, the whole thing is way more lifelike than this entire image deserves to be. But yeah, no, it's a carved image of a harp. It's just a really realistic one. There's a lot of detail in there.
Is there any
So
text anywhere?
You wouldn't be able to tell from here.
From 20 feet away?
Correct.
Does Bat see any text?
Well, Bat's movements are kind of jittery, making it difficult for him to see, but there could be something there.
All right, I will get closer and look.
Okay.
I'm gonna tie a rope around Deckard's
Waste.
waist and have a ready to action.
Okay. Deckard steps into the space. There is something written here. They're actually written into the strings of the heart, or harp, Harp. And uh, ultimately, you can't quite make them out. Either Sylvia or Asia would have to go in there to sort of read them because of perception checks. So is that okay? Or either of you?
Yeah, I'll go in.
Okay. So when Azure
Yeah.
gets up a little closer, he kind of squints and he reads, kind of turning his head sideways, and it says, "Gaze upon me with bronzed visage, and secrets I shall reveal."
Gonna immediately snake my hand into Okoro's pouch, pull out the mask, and stick it on.
Okay. Once you put the mask on,
Kinky, Raz.
you don't see anything in particular when gazing at the space beyond. It looks exactly the same as it did before.
Gonna take 10 steps closer.
Okay. As soon as you cross that space and end up where you end up, you vanish.
Uh-oh, another
So
gate.
here's what's going to happen. I'm going to create a separate voice channel, and Will, join me in that voice channel. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I actually have to make. No, that's right. No, that's an actual text channel. What did I do? Delete channel. Yes. And then create a channel, voice channel.
Episode 4, in which Alex fucks around with Discord.
Shh. Okay. So hi. Now that I have you here, on the other side, you have found what looks like a 30-foot square room, and it has the following features. There is a mist-filled open doorway leading back to the alcove from which you came. On this side, there's the other half of the broken 10-foot pole. It lies just a few feet inside the doorway. There's also a portrait hanging upside down on one wall. It's tall. It's a wood-framed painting of Halaster Blackcoak. And most notably, seated in a high-backed oak chair in front of the painting is an image of the Mad Mage himself. And when you appear inside, it says, "Well, don't just stand there like a boob. Ask me 3 questions about Undermountain. 2 of my answers will be true, and 1 will be false."
Going to step backwards out of the room.
Okay. You appear back in the dungeon alcove.
And then I'm immediately gonna step back in. Have I lost my chance by doing that?
The Halaster that's seated in the chair just sort of looks expectantly at you.
Take another step back, gonna convene with the group.
Okay. When you appear back, we'll go back into the other voice chat.
Every episode, but I always miss it.
Hi.
Half elf.
Ah, okay.
I'm back. There's
Are,
a
are you back? Are you back in the visible world?
yes.
I've been trying to hit you with a stick.
So inside there is a picture of Hallister Blackthorn that is going to ask that will answer 3 questions, 2 of which will be truth, 1 of which will be a lie, and they're questions about the Undermountain. I am
I
not
have
asking.
I have to add a brief amendment. First of all, it's Hallister Blackcloak. That's the least important thing. Second of all, while there is a painting in there, this part I made a little less clear. There seems to be the actual Hallister Blackcloak just seated in the chair, who is the person offering to answer questions.
I am not asking you guys questions in case they count against my limit, and you all should phrase your things as answers, not questions, statements, not things with question marks at the end. What? No.
What?
3 questions. Go.
Oh, and to further amend the thing, to get an exact repetition of what was said, when he entered the room, Halaster said, "Well, don't just stand there like a boob. Ask me 3 questions about Undermountain. 2 of my answers will be true, and 1 will be false." So, who's going in?
Well, I was thinking we could debate questions here, then one person goes in and says them.
That works for me too. All right, you guys, run that whole thing.
Ooh, that's a good point.
So
There are gates of interest. What does that mean?
The gate we found earlier, the mirror, so to speak.
Meaning, yeah, but what about it? What's the
I
question?
mean, well, I'm trying to keep it open-ended to kind of field questions about them.
Oh, okay.
How do we
We could
activate
ask
the
about.
gates?
Okay, you can ask him that.
I mean,
what else?
That's one question.
Hmm.
What floor are the mind flayers on?
That might be
that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a very good question to have an answer to.
And are there what are the secrets of this level? Or we can either ask what are the secrets of this level we haven't unlocked, or what is what is the biggest treasure? Like, we could either go for a question about this specific level, or like something like end of campaign wise large.
Like how to defeat the final boss, so to speak.
Well, that would be him.
Oh wait, we could also ask where the fuck how do we easily get to that one town that we're looking for, that is the point of this entire quest.
Yeah, that would be an option.
Anyone have any better ideas?
Not really.
Also, who wants to ask the questions? I can, but
I'll ask.
Okay. So could you guys do me a small favor and put into the actual chat what the 3 questions you want to ask so that I can address them without forgetting? Because you
So
mentioned a
we're
couple different
clear
things.
we're clear on gates and mind flayers as being 2 of them, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And then Will suggested as a third one, maybe
How to get to Skullport?
yes.
or we can ask if there's anything on this anything secret on this floor
On this floor, yeah.
that
That was the other one.
that we could find.
We
Yep.
could also we could ask a third question that would determine whether the other 2, if one of them has been a lie. Like we could ask him what is your name, and if he lies, then we know the other 2 are truthful.
Actually, no. If we just ask, are the other 2 shoot. Are the other were the answers? Shit. There's no. Oh fuck.
Did
I'm
you
trying.
not lie to? Did you not lie about the other?
I understand what you're asking. I also am familiar with this. I think we all know this comes from that logic puzzle of like one brother lies and the other one tells the truth. Will's
Yeah.
right. There's a very specific question that will produce information about whether or not he's lied about other questions. However, I think all that's really necessary is like if we just have Deckard go in there and ask the question. His character has a high intelligence. I know what you guys are after. I don't see any point in creating an artificial barrier of making you figure it out because you have the internet. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to say that if you want the third question to be whatever it was that will indicate whether or not that question is a lie or one of the other two questions is a lie, you can do that. But it's up to you whether you want to do that.
That's up to you, Deckard. What do you think? Do you think it's worth it to know if both the other questions are?
Well, I'm trying to look at how damaging a lie would be. And I mean, we don't want to be surprised by mind flares, correct?
No, that would
Uh,
be particularly bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So,
want to get my brain eaten.
so I think making the lowest possible chance of that being a lie is pretty useful. So
Okay, go for it, Deckard. That's why I wanted someone else to do it because my int score is not nearly high enough. Plus, I honestly think a wizard talking with a wizard, he might be more interested in you. Whether that be a good or a bad
Okay. So Decker dons the mask. He enters in, and I need just a little bit more time because I'm trying to make sure that I personally, as the DM, have the information to give the correct answer
Mhm.
for some of this if necessary.
Also,
Wow, this
there'll
is
be
very.
some very good information, even if he is lying about what floor the mind flares are on, because we'll know which floor they're not on at least.
Yeah, the safe floor.
There's 27 floors. I mean, I don't know if you're really narrowing down what you think you're narrowing down. Okay, so anyways, so once you step inside, um, Halaster's sitting there. He sees you enter. He looks like he had like kind of slumped into his chair like a lot. Like he was sort of like ready to slide out of it, like he was super bored. And then you come in, and he perks right back up, and temples his fingers, and he stares at you expectantly. And then he goes through his whole spiel, which I already read to you. So let me determine something here. Okay. So go ahead and we'll take the first one. So, what are the requirements to open all of the gates in Hunter Mountain?
Each of the gates.
You said all.
That's why I lowered it. That's why I redid it in
Oh,
the
you
third.
did.
Yeah,
You did. You
he
did.
did. Yeah.
Um, I, the DM, do not actually have that information. They're kind of spread all over the place, and they couldn't
So
find
when
them.
we encounter them, can you at least, if this is the truth, when we encounter them, can you tell us what it is?
Um, Probably. Let me think about this for a minute. Because I have to check one other thing. Hmm. Okay. 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 Um, so then what I'm going to do I want one of the players to go into the notes, create a note that says the players have the information for how to activate all of the different um, gates. Okay? Just because I don't have to write it, I've got other things to do. So,
I can make one.
yeah, you just have to write it. That's all it has to say, just so that we know
Mhm.
that I don't have to do or should give you that information. So he details them. He goes through it. All of them have remarkably varying ways to
Mm.
activate them, um, and some of them are very persnickety for whatever weird ass reason. But you know, There you go. What floor are the mind flayers on? Let me see here. I just want to double check to make sure that I've got the right one because I looked this up.
I feel like if the gate information is true, that in and of itself is
Like
invaluable.
unbelievably, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Halaster thinks about it for a moment. Well, I believe there's one between here and there, but level 17 will contain the mind flayers en masse.
Are we putting a note for that? I can do it. Or if you still
You
have.
guys should probably make a
I
note for
got it.
your own personal
Okay.
information.
I put
Okay.
I put notes information from the Mad Mage.
And
Okay.
and especially because when it comes down to it, I don't want to have to look this up again. So, um, yeah. So, anyways, he claims that level 17, but there's one between here and there.
Okay.
Okay. And then as for the third question, you ask him the question to determine if he lied on either of the two previous questions. Based on your logicking this situation, it seems one of the two questions is a lie.
Okay.
Well, we can test the one about the portals real quick.
You can.
Yep. That's the advantage of these two, because then we and then we know that level 17 is the safe zone. Hey, that's not far.
Okay. So as soon as he answers that final question, Halaster immediately turns to a gray sludge and just melts into a puddle. And then once it does so, that puddle turns into a wet puddle on the floor, and then that wet puddle evaporates, and then there's nothing left.
Check behind the portrait.
Okay. So you poke and prod about in the space. The portrait can come off the wall. You doubt that it would be of any particular value. There's nothing behind the portrait. There doesn't seem to be any other secret spaces. Because of your detect magic, you actually think that this isn't really a room, but it's a demi-plane.
Did he really waste a level 9 spell for this? Of course he did.
It would seem so.
I mean, he gets one every day.
I mean, it's a really random activation as well. You guys are starting to get a little bit of a look into his mind, if you know what I mean. So, anyways, you poke around in here. There really isn't anything else of value. Like, the desk is a desk. Everything else is what it is. You know, so there you go. So you step back out with the mask on and rejoin your compatriots. You catch them up on what happened, and there you are. Now, at this point, are you guys going to continue on, or do you want to try and figure out if his information about the gate is true?
I mean, let's finish this corridor before we go do that.
Okay.
Also, going to high five Deckard for thank you for being brave enough to face the Mad Mage. I sure as hell.
So down at the
I didn't
end,
like the sludge, but otherwise, okay.
I know, right? Fortunately, it disappeared fairly quickly. Down at the end of this hallway, there is a door leading elsewhere.
I say gate then door.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys head back to the gate. You don't have to worry about moving your
Sneak,
characters.
sneak, 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 sneak.
He claims that in order to activate this mirror, you have to stick your tongue at it and then pull down your right lower eyelid. He also
Really?
claims that it will open to anybody who is a true virgin.
Definitely not a Kuru.
Hmm.
So
Really?
it'll only open to a true virgin?
Uh-huh.
Sylvia!
I mean, what does this say about your horror
Excuse
of a
me?
bat?
What about about Azure? Your paladinly like
There you go.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, Eric, do you follow the god of love?
No.
You might just be a virgin, are you?
No.
It depends. Does oral count?
Depends on what the definition of is.
Yep.
Raz is going to very, very, very huffily shuffle up to the mirror, do the
Oh.
thing, and try to activate it.
Well, first of all, the activation thing of like sticking your tongue out and that doesn't activate it in the least.
Mhm.
And second of all, you also recall that since your status as the true version has not changed in the past several minutes, that you've already approached this portal and nothing happened.
Okay, well we at least learn where the mind flayers are.
That is valuable information.
Wait, had we asked the same question twice? God damn it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, truthfully, like both of those, like that information, both of those are unbelievably valuable things to know. So,
Well,
like,
but I guess if we had asked the portal question twice. Oh well.
yeah.
He could have just lied about the mind flayers and
Well, and here's
given
the
us
other
the
thing.
truth twice.
I was not 100% sure that you guys were actually going to be able to sort of figure out how to activate this thing because it seemed kind of um, off the wall to me. I mean,
Just to go back to the mind flare question, I just want to make sure that we're clear on him saying 1 between 1 and 17. Is that what he said, or 1 or thereabouts?
Yeah, and also I don't know if I mentioned this, but level 17 is called Sea Deep.
Okay.
It's not like they're going to announce the name when you descend a
But
floor or
did he
anything.
say 1 between now and then, or 1 or thereabouts, or something like around 1?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
one mind flayer between here and there.
there is
Okay,
a
between here.
single
A
as
single. Okay.
yes.
Alright, well, we have learned that the gate information is false, but the mind flayer information is correct.
Indeed, which is quite a thing to have learned.
Okay. Am I opening up the store?
Okay. So let's see here. I'm gonna start.
I crack open the door and
Let me see here. 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I think it's about that far. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go.
Oh, should I delete the note saying we know how to activate the portals?
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, because that.
although every time we get to a portal now, Alex has to give us a funny incorrect way to activate
Does he? Do you want your DM to hate you?
I can make
I
these up
mean,
all day long. Like I came up with that in about a second.
Okay.
Alex already hates me as much as he's going to hate me.
Also, I am going to point out one thing. It's quite possible that all of those were lies. There is absolutely no guarantee that he was telling the truth. He's
That's
the
very
Mad
true.
Mage.
Yep. That is 100% true.
So watch
I
as in
half
floor
expected
5
that.
we see 2 mind flayers and we're like, God damn it.
Though, there might actually be a way that you could figure it out. Namely, that if you were to head back upstairs and see if anybody else has encountered this thing before,
Yeah.
you know, Durnan himself founded this inn because he had plunged really deep into Undermountain and came back with a lot of wealth and decided that, that long trip down there was kind of enough for him. And here we are. So there are other people present who may be able to verify or refute information. And the other thing is that people upstairs love endlessly talking about this place. So there's lots of information to be gained. But one of the other things worth mentioning is that, and I mentioned this before, Undermountain shifts. So your level 1 will not be the same level 1 as someone else's level 1. And so on and so on and so forth. So while there's lots of information, it may not even apply to the instance that you come across of Undermountain.
Also, I just realized something. We totally are going to pawn this mask off for so much money when we tell people what happened.
Also very true. Yeah, so there's like a lot of upsides at this particular moment. So kudos to you
Yeah.
guys. So anyways, you're gonna head down there, and I'm gonna get this corridor. Boop. Okay, so there's another turn down to the south from that particular one, and then when you get to there, boop, ends in a doorway.
Door. He sits
All right.
down.
I'm gonna try to mage hand it from here.
Okay. So the door does not seem to be locked. Um, and so it'll swing open, and then I don't know. See here. Okay. I'm gonna go like I don't know, that. That seems about right. That's about all you can see into there. There's something back there. Not quite sure what. Oh, I see you creep ever closer. And I'm going to, I don't know, go like that so you can see about there. So, inside of this room, give me just a second. I gotta grab my notepad. This is 37. Okay. So the first thing that you guys notice is that there is a elaborate um, map.
Vampire LARP.
Map. It is a cross section of Undermountain with what is clearly Mount Waterdeep and the City of Splendors at the top, and 23 hollowed out levels stacked below it. And each dungeon level has its own stylistic side view, but it doesn't look like there are any names or details included to suggest what each level is called or contains. There might be some information to gain from getting closer to it, but from here, that's all you can tell.
The map
Um,
is the thing towards the bottom.
yeah.
I died how I lived.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Hold on. It is actually a pit. That is a pit. That is not the
No, it
map.
wasn't that.
Yeah, the map, I believe, is it on the southern wall? It's kind of, hold on. Eh. Carved into the west wall. Sorry, west wall.
I died how I lived.
Okay. Um,
Let's see if we can pick out which one is this one.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, which floor?
Yeah,
Well, you guys should be on the first floor.
yeah, but you said that these all rearrange.
Um, internally. Meaning there's,
Oh, I thought you I thought when you kept saying that they rearranged which one was in which order.
oh, yeah, that can also happen sometimes. The first level is often the first level, but sometimes you can come into the first level and it's like normally 4 floors down. But it only shuffles from so deep up to the top. Do you know what I'm saying now? Am I making this any clearer?
So it's showing
Right.
us the current order.
Yes.
Okay.
And so give me just a second. Uh, okay. So once you come into the room, however, Raz is quick to notice that there is something moving around down in the bottom of that pit. Now, I assume based on your beeline to the western wall that you don't give a flying fuck, but anybody
No,
else who moves into the room also hears that moving around in the bottom of the pit.
I'm gonna cast light on one of the walls of the pit so we can see down.
Oh, okay. So once you look down in there, um, it's about 30 feet deep. Um, but the bottom 10 feet of the hole are filled with stone rubble, and the sides are really smooth. And it doesn't look like you would be able to get up it without either magic or some sort of climbing gear. More importantly, there is a half elf down there in the bottom of the pit. He's pacing around inside of this space, and it's only 10 feet, so it's a pretty small space to be pacing. Um, but it would be very noteworthy to point out that he has very gray skin. His eyes are burning coals. Um, and he is dressed in an outfit that indicates that he's probably a cleric of Joaquin, who is the cleric of travel, I believe it is. I can look it up if you guys are really curious. Oops.
Hey down there. How'd you wind up down there? Who
Oops, give me just a second. I was looking up Joaquin. Nope, it's in the player's handbook. Reference manual. Appendices. Gods of the Multiverse. Scroll a little bit further. DW. Goddess of Trade. Knowledge and Trickery. Upright coin with Joaquin's profile facing left. So that is a neutral god. Anyways, so the at this point, especially with the light, the former half elf looks up and says, "Well, my name is Haleth Gark. Um, I ended up here because I was a member of the Fine Fellows of Daggerford, and at one point, one
it
of my adventuring companions accused me of withholding treasure from him and the other members, and we went to sleep that night after the fight, and I awoke to the sensation of being beaten to death, and then my body was thrown in this pit, and then a day later I awoke again as some sort of undead creature." He looks at his hands. "I have this burning need to find and kill the other three who ravaged my body. Um, and unfortunately for me, I seem to be lacking some way to get out of the pit." That is a really good roll. Is anybody else rolling?
Oh yeah.
Raz is kind of half listening.
Oh, I'll get to that map in just a second.
Jesus.
Wow.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Go Koru.
I can't even match that, so I'm not rolling.
Okay, so at this point, it's really interesting because for someone who has just become an intelligent undead creature, which is actually fairly rare, except for like vampires, he seems very rational. He doesn't seem particularly upset. He doesn't seem insane. He actually just seems like really focused. Like, I'm gonna get out of here, and I am absolutely going to murder those people that were part of my adventuring party. That's what's gonna happen. One of these days, I'm gonna get out of here.
So he's telling the truth about his motivations then?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
Yeah. He's not well, he's not a LARPing vampire.
Oh no, I seem to be some. I think I'm a revenant. I'm not hungry or thirsty or tired.
Do you like fire?
Are you going to
What's a
bathe
revenant?
me in it?
No.
Okay. Um,
As long as you don't go after us, I don't particularly care.
wait, who? Oh, Will already got a good roll. I'm good with that. Here's a picture of a revenant. Okay. Ha. Wait. No. Okay, I want to go to. I need to go to the DM, the monster manual. Reference nope, not reference. NPCs. Alphabetical. Nope. Okay, now I finally found it. Okay, revenants. Revenants are forms of the soul. A revenant forms when the soul of a mortal who met a cruel and undeserving fate. Uh, or formed from the soul, blah, 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 blah. It claws its way back into the world to seek revenge against the one or ones who wronged it. A revenant reclaims its mortal body and superficially resembles a zombie. However, instead of lifeless eyes, a revenant's eyes burn with resolve and flare in the presence of its adversary. If the revenant's original body was destroyed or is otherwise unavailable, the spirit of the revenant enters another humanoid corpse. Regardless of the body that the revenant uses as a vessel, its adversary always recognizes the revenant for what it truly is. No magic can hide a creature pursued by a revenant, which always knows the direction and distance between itself and the target of its vengeance. In cases where the revenant seeks revenge against more than one adversary, it pursues them one at a time, starting off with the creature that dealt it the killing blow. If the revenant's body is destroyed, its soul flies forth and seeks out any other corpse with which to resume its hunt. It is also noteworthy that a revenant has a time limit to accomplish this goal. Um, a revenant only has 1 year to exact revenge. When its adversary dies, or if the revenant fails to kill its adversary before the time runs out, it crumbles to dust and its soul fades into the afterlife. If its foe is too powerful for the revenant to destroy on its own, it will often seek worthy allies to help it fulfill its quest.
So, but he was definitely innocent of what he was accused of. If he's a revenant.
Well, yeah, you guys already ran an insight check on his story. As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, I say let him
Revenge,
have his revenge.
I agree.
yeah, revenge is a worthy pursuit. I cut somebody off though. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing. Let's do it.
I have 50 feet of hempen rope.
Okay.
So do I. So
Not that I'm not grateful, but do you want something in return?
I mean, sure, you got anything?
Well, no, that was actually kind of what I was worried about. I've got my armor, and I've got what is the weapon that he has? Oh, wow, they were assholes. He has his armor and nothing else. Um,
Well,
yeah, I mean
well,
it. He has his outfit for the cleric of Joaquin, but they took his weapon. So right now he's only capable of fist attacks. Oh, and they also have a vengeful glare.
don't we still
Well,
have that spare quarterstaff? The one that we used mending on and that was making the weird noises.
Yeah, it's just a regular quarterstaff now.
I mean, it's better give him that than nothing.
I'll give him some darts too. I've I have a bunch of spare
Well,
darts.
right, but just to be super clear, he's concerned that you're not going to let him out of the pit if he doesn't
Oh
kill
no,
you.
I just lower the rope down to him.
Okay. So he grabs the rope, and he is exceedingly strong. You actually suddenly have to sort of, just make yourself stout against the weight. But it takes him like mere seconds to come up that rope. Like gym class would be no problem for this guy. At 30 feet in a matter of seconds. Once he's up at the top, um, he says, "Well, it's true that I don't have anything on me, but I can tell you," and he points to the southern wall. "There's a secret door that way." Um, and
Okay.
hold on a second. There's some additional information. It seems I don't have access to my cleric spells anymore, and they stole my holy symbol and my weapon. They also stole a map of the Sargauth level, which is level 3. Um, since I have this quarterstaff and these darts, but without my cleric powers, I don't know that I'm actually much of a match for them, and I guess I have to admit I could use some help. Would it be all right if I traveled with you? I mean, if we find them, they're not on this level, but they could be on the next one if nothing shifts. And if you help me kill them, I'll be happy to give you the map because once they're dead, I'm not going to be around anymore anyways.
Raz immediately raises her hand, being like, "I'm all for the map."
Yeah, absolutely.
I ain't
Okay.
gonna complain about the help.
Also,
Ajor, do you want to mention to them what you were thinking about the sword? That could be helpful to them.
Oh yeah,
I
that's a good
mean,
idea.
we can, but we're also kind of helping this guy kill others. So I'm kind of on the fence with the whole thing, anyways.
keep in mind the people he's going after are thieves and murderers who killed him
Yeah,
over.
I want to kill them. I want to help kill them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally down for this. This is Okoru's bag right here.
So, Haleth Gark has been added to the party. Can you guys see any of the effects on him?
No.
Mm-mm.
Marvelous. I'll just keep
He has
that to
great hit
myself.
points, though.
Yeah, he's hanky as all hell.
Also, Ajor, he
Revenants are
hadn't
pretty tough to
made-
kill.
Asia, you had an issue with this. Do we want to talk about it, or are you okay?
I'll go along with it for now.
I mean, you are a paladin, so we do kind of have to worry about what you do. I'm not sure what kind of paladin you are.
That's a good question.
As long as we're not running around massively slaughtering everyone, we're okay.
I mean, we've only done it in self-defense so far.
Well,
Those LARPers attacked us first.
just to reiterate a little piece of information that you gained already, a revenant can only be created
Mm-hmm.
by the soul of someone who has been massively wronged,
Right.
which means that in no way could he be lying about his situation and be a revenant.
Yeah, this seems just in a sense. I mean, so
Yeah, that's literally the mechanic involved, justice. So, I understand, hesitation around murdering, but at least it means that by virtue of his nature, he's incapable of deceiving you as to how he feels about everything. So, anyways, moving
Okoro
on.
does ask them what races his other party members were.
Oh, give me just a second.
mind flare.
Oh God.
Um, that's a good question. There's
Don't
supposed.
party with mind flares. Lesson learned.
uh, I can assure you none of them are mind flayers. What I can't seem to find, let me see here. Level 2. I have to skim a little bit. Wait, isn't that? Yeah, okay. One of them is a big bearded dwarf.
Ooh, I'm gonna get a dwarf skull.
You very well might. Let's see what else we got here. I'm skimming, trying to find entries that pop out. It's possible I might miss some, by the way. I actually hadn't finished this thing because it's on the next level, so I don't have perfect information about this floor. I
You
seem
can
to
give it
remember.
to us next time if you'd like to
Uh,
not have to use your time right
yes.
now.
It also is the case that it may take more than that because preparing a floor takes a long time. Um, I think I remember one of them being a human fighter, one of them's a dwarf. I don't remember much beyond that.
We'll
He
come
just
back to it another time.
Yeah,
Just
I also couldn't really
Okoro
offer
asks.
much of a description right now. So as for the
Yeah.
map itself, let's fixate on that. So now that you're standing in front of it, um, skimming. So there's three features that stand out. Next to the third level is the bas relief of a flaming skull. Next to the 16th level is the bas relief of a comet. Next to the 23rd, which is also the lowest level, is a bas relief of a tower with a tiny rune engraved above it. Now, since you're also closely inspecting all of these things, you notice that the flaming skull, the comet, and the tower are buttons that can be pressed.
Is that gonna rearrange things, or is that gonna do?
I
You have
doubt on floor 1 it would rearrange things. I'm going to press the skullport button.
Okay. Um, a magical, genderless voice that is disembodied fills the room and in common says, there you go.
Going to press the button again.
Oh.
Oh, I see. That must mean interesting. I'll press the second button.
Same voice pops up.
Okay, third button.
Same voice pops up.
I wonder why the gate access to skullport is disabled.
Probably the same thing that made that other one all wild magic.
Maybe we all have to be virgins.
Oh man, no one's
Well, it's
getting
a
a
bit
skull port.
late for that, ain't it?
He looks at the Revenant and asks the Revenant, "Did you die a virgin?"
uh, the Revenant sort of stares at you with his eyes burning coals. You're not actually sure if he's blushing or bashful or anything really, but he just kind of suddenly says with a very flat voice, "No, I had that particular pleasure before my death."
Am I the only one in the party? Of course. Anyway, I'm I'm going to draw as much information as possible.
Okay. So you spend some time, you scrabble down everything. There actually might be an image that I might be able to share. So give me just a second. I'm going to take a quick look. Let's see here.
Then I suggest secret door, and then it's probably 9:30.
Yep, it's getting real close. Nope, that's magic items. Maps.
Sylvia's going to give Hallis a quick hug, by the way, for everything he's been through.
Oh, he sort of bashfully accepts the hug, and nope, there's no map I can share. Sorry. So his voice trembles a little bit, and he seems soothed by your care.
Sylvia's very classy.
Yeah. I think one of the last things that I'm gonna do.
You've seen me eat. I am not classy in the least bit. Did you see like how much of that rib juice?
I'm a bugbear. Have you seen me eat?
Okay, fair point.
Just outlining the rest of that corridor. Boop. There we go. Okay. So also the secret tunnel is revealed by Haleth while you guys are investigating there. He presses a panel in the wall, or sorry, not a panel, a brick in the wall, and suddenly the wall folds inwards, and you see that there is a secret door. There's some humanoid footprints in the dust that suggest that there's a fair amount of traffic that passes through here. So anyways, I think this is actually probably a pretty optimal stopping point. I'm just going to draw some quick pointers so that we know next time where unexplored areas are, just in case it's not apparent. Pointer here. And then I already have the one way up north, if I remember correctly. Yes, I do.
There's also one more to the middle northeast.
Yes, yes. Let me get my pointer there as well. There we go. I know that for you oh, wait a minute.
There's
Go
also
to
that
mass
one
mode.
way off to the west.
Oh no, that leads somewhere else. That leads somewhere else on this floor.
Oh, I also just
Oh.
revealed the Rosetta or the rose compass, I should say, for this map. It's in the upper right hand corner. Anyways, what was I going to add? I know that for the players that the spaces that you can't see are blacked out, but I'm not always certain whether it's super clear to you guys, like whether there's a dead end for a corridor or not. Do you know what I mean?
Not always, but most of the time, yes.
Okay, so the arrows are helpful.
Yes.
Very.
Okay.
That 5-foot arrow at the bottom of that path is. I didn't know that there was a way out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the other end of the secret door, and I didn't want to reveal too much of the room, so there you go. And since Haleth knows that end, he knows how to get out the other end too.
Woohoo!
Cool.
Okay,
We have a new friend.
you
A
do.
friend who likes hugs.
Who likes hugs and revenge?
I like him.
Best combination.
Also, Haleth actually seems pretty cooperative, so you may also be able to get some information out of him when you explore new areas.
And he's super tanky. Yep.
He's so tanky, you guys have no idea. Thanks so much for playing, guys.